Okay, so this is our pre-recorded webinar for ADL636 for week 3. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Our agenda for tonight is to very quickly go over some of the general class things, some stuff about the class, but we've already done this before, so I'll just go through it very quickly. And then to jump into the assignments for this week. So when will grades be posted? You probably already know this, but it's the Tuesday or later after the week after the class ends. So the class ends on Saturday. That's another good reminder there that the final week of class assignments are due one day early. And then the Tuesday after that, or sometime after, I hope to be able to post the grades by that Tuesday. Usually I say after noon on that Tuesday, but if not, it will be shortly after that Tuesday. So just make sure everything is turned in before that point, obviously, because I need to finish grading everything and then finalize grades and whatnot. We've already gone over this, that all the grades are posted at the same time. Discussion boards, I don't think we need to discuss that right now because we already know about discussion boards. And then on my website, I am continuously adding assignment examples and things like that to my website, so it's not a bad thing to check out. Weekly meetings. Week 4, we will be doing a pre-recorded presentation of your e-portfolio. And there may be another presentation in there that I'm checking out, so I'll give you more information about that as well. So you will be recording go ahead and check out the week 4 in our online class if you want to get more information about that, because there's a couple of things in there that we may need to present. So you will be recording yourself presenting your e-portfolio to the class. It can be something very similar to this if you like. I'm using Screencast-O-Matic. It does have some limitations for the free version of it, and I believe one of those limitations is that you can only record up to about 15 minutes. But if you think you can stay under the 15-minute mark, I'm pretty sure that is, then it works great and it's free. So I like that part of it, and I use it quite a bit, and I have not seen a need to upgrade to the paid version of it yet. There are probably some examples, so if you wanted to check that out, it's not a bad idea, but so far I'm getting along just fine with the free version of it. Let's see, we can ignore this stuff on the bottom there, sorry about that. And then rubrics, of course, as you are going through the assignments and creating your doing your assignments, then you'll want to be checking those rubrics as you are doing that, so you don't miss points on anything that's already in the rubric. Okay, so this week we will be talking about summative assessments. So some of the questions that we can attend to in our reflection are, what is a summative assessment? So what is your definition of that? My definition of a summative assessment is that it is something that lets you know if the students got the material that you presented. So typically this is at the end of a section of the book or whatever. I suppose it could also be in the middle. I give quizzes. I teach math, 6th grade math, and I give a quiz halfway through the chapter. So that quiz could be considered a summative assessment, I suppose, because it's on the first half of the chapter. But then it's also formative in a sense as well, because I'm preparing them for the final test there at the end of the chapter, and that quiz lets me know what they still need a little bit of help on and whatnot, so then it becomes a formative assessment. When can a summative assessment be more formative? I think I just talked about that a little bit, so I'll let you guys consider that and consider what I've said there. And then how can we assess using online tools? And I will talk a little bit more in a minute here, I believe, about some online tools, but there are lots of online tools that we can use to help us assess how our students are doing, such as Kahoot or Edpuzzle or quizzes, things like that. Class readings, don't forget there's lots of material in your class website under week 3 as well as all the other weeks. So don't forget about those things. A lot of those things are not points associated in the gradebook, but boy, they sure do help us understand the topics for each week. And there's some just great material in there that really can help you understand what we're talking about each week. Okay, so the week 2 assignments. The first assignment is that interview that we've been talking about for a while. So now you're actually going to be conducting your interview. A couple things you want to do is you want to, of course, go into, oh, sorry, this is week 3 assignments. I neglected to change that. Well, one of the great things about recording yourself giving a presentation like this, and one of the reasons why I threw out you guys being able to pre-record your presentation of your e-portfolio is what I did just right here, and that is I changed that week 2 to week 3. So maybe I shouldn't have said anything, and I just should have changed it, and maybe nobody would have noticed. So anyway, but I thought I'd point that out because it is one of the advantages of being able to pause, during a presentation and change something, collect your thoughts and whatnot. So hopefully you will appreciate that during your presentation during week 4. So anyway, getting back to the interview assignment, you'll want to be checking out week 3 and looking at the assignment as a whole and better understanding what you are responsible for there. There are some specific questions that you're going to be asking, and so you'll want to look at those, and this is the week that you will be conducting that interview and writing that up. Assignment number 2, you're going to be creating an assessment. Okay, so continuing, had a little trouble with my mic there, so sorry if I repeat something here. Continuing with, excuse me, creating an assessment here. And side note, since I was talking about using Screencast-O-Matic for recording your presentation, what I just did is I've now created 2 videos, and I'll have to stitch those 2 videos together. So if you do find that your presentation is over 15 minutes, you could do that. You could record one, 10-minute presentation, another 10-minute presentation, and then put those 2 together and make it one presentation. But going on to create an assessment. So basically you're going to create an assessment for whatever you like, and then you're going to be using a digital tool. So there is a list of tools in the assignment explanation under week 3. There's quite an exhaustive list there, and there's some great tools there. Many of the tools are free, and some of them have a trial that you can try them out if you want to. And then some of them do cost. So I personally, being a poor school teacher, I like to use the free tools, and there's lots of options out there. So you could pretty easily stick to completely free tools. A couple of my favorites, I do like to use Google Forms quite a bit. I find it very flexible. I can create something that I'm pretty sure Google's going to stick around for a while, so I can create something that I can use over and over again and tweak as I find necessary, make it a little better each year. Google Forms also has become very good at not just doing multiple choice questions, but also doing specific questions. So if I do 2 plus 2, I can put in 4 as the exact answer, and I can even put in 4 the number 4, or 4 FOUR. I could even put in 4 as FOR, misspelled, but if I think, oh, the student got it, they tried to say 4, and I can say that's correct as well, or whatever combination of that I want to. So it's become pretty powerful lately. Google Classroom and Google Forms is becoming more of a complete, sort of LMS, actually, if you check it out. I also like, in the Google Classroom, sticking to that Google ecosystem, I do like the Google Classroom. You can create a question, and you can create just a quick question if you want to, just kind of on the fly, sort of, formative assessments. Do you know the answer to this? If you think, maybe the students are getting this, maybe they're not getting it, and that kind of gives you sort of an in-class guide on, do I need to spend more time on this concept or less time on this concept? So you can create a quick question in Google Forms. I also use Kahoot. That's a fun one. My students really like that. Kahoot also comes with some data now when you finish a Kahoot. It gives you some data on which questions were answered correctly and incorrectly, things like that. So there is some good information attached to that, and the students love it. It's a lot of fun. I also like Edpuzzle personally. I can post a video like this, and I can ask questions throughout the video, and then I do get data again on which questions they got right, which ones they got wrong. If the students watch the entire video, I can even I'll make it so the students aren't allowed to fast forward through the video, so I know for sure exactly how much they've watched. Those are all free tools. Like I said, I'm cheap. I like to use free tools, and all of those are free, so those are some of my favorites. Okay, continuing, we do have a reflection for this webinar that you'll need to post as an assignment. Same thing as last week. You could attend to some of those questions that we referred to in the beginning, talking about assessment there. So I'll bring those up really quickly right here, talking about summative assessment. So there's our questions right there. So you could answer some of those questions. Okay, I think you probably know about that because we did that last week. So go ahead and go on. Week 4, you may want to give week 4 a peek just to look at the assignments for next week, because it's a pretty extensive week. So you might want to, if you have a chance, you might want to start looking at that a little bit early so you're not rushed at the very end. That's about it. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great week.